Scarcity from...
Look at this guy right here. Oh my god, these look awesome. Hey guys, so today we're going to be checking out something from Baldermort, and it's Ravaged Stars lore, The Veil Touched. Now, if you guys know anything about me and my channel, you know that I have been a massive fan of Baldermort ever since you guys introduced him to me with the Night Lords video. Baldermort has been kind of like my spirit animal for this entire thing. Everything kind of led up to me actually working with Baldermort on Mistakes of the Emperor 6, which I could not believe was happening, and I still couldn't believe. If you went back and told me, you know, when I first really became a fan of Baldermort that I'd eventually work with him, I would be, hey, yeah, you're full of crap. But at the same time, he is a remarkably chill guy. And he has a whole different, he's starting a new natural history kind of channel as well, GK Natural Histories. But we're going to be checking out today something called Ravaged Star, and this was requested by Blanket113. It's the oldest request on the Discord server right now in the request reactions, which has now been shut down. But God, I'm saying but a lot, and I'm just rambling. This is kind of like a return to home for me. It's been a while since I've seen anything with Baldermort in it, so I'm going to enjoy this. I hope you guys do too. And go check out his new channel, definitely. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. But without anything else being said, let's get started and enjoy some Baldermort, guys. I know I am. Here we go.
Did you ever want to be there at the start, when it all began? For something huge. Something that will change the landscape of miniature wargaming forever. That time is now. Right now. Formulated from hundreds of hours of community feedback. Literally created for the people, by the people. I am elated to present to you, from miniwargaming.com, the future of gaming. Ravaged Stars.
Okay.
60 years ago. Somewhere in the depths of space, there's a region ignored by most.
See, this is the thing. I could listen to Baldermort read a phone book, and everybody knows that. Let's go.
Claimed by none. It is almost entirely devoid of anything of worth. No trade routes or rare minerals. Only limited colonization targets, and none that would be considered prime locations. Yet, it was to play host to a rare sight. A pageant the likes had not been seen in an epoch. For the vanguard had come, and they had come in force. The fleet that mustered in the system was colossal in size. Its flagship, the Rohalinth Resplendent, was the venue of the last discourse between its leadership before they engaged on their quest. The fleet embarked on its purpose. The four main officers of the fleet raised their glasses, filled with potent alcohol, and they emptied them in one. It was a tradition as old as the vanguard themselves, some said. But it had its purpose. For the consumption of that much intoxicant would loosen tongues, lower inhibitions. Nothing would change the trajectory of the event, but in these instances, the flag officers would tell their prime of their concerns, their fears. For sometimes, even the greatest of men can be ignorant of the concerns of their subordinates. Only human. Any commander could miss something. So this last rite was performed to make certain that the admiral would know the true shape of his command staff. Lord Davicus, the leader of the...
It's something I wish happened a little bit more often in real life concerning certain things, but still.
Expedition gave the customary invitation for comment by just raising his glass again. He was a striking man, tall, robust, muscular, and energetic. He was not what anyone would call pretty, but should he choose, there were few who would rebuff his advances. He was a legend in his own lifetime. The third most decorated officer in Vanguard history. For his age, of course. If he kept up his victories and actions of merit, he could well pip the ancient heroes of old. But few doubted this. He was a force of nature, and he elicited loyalty and compliance from all he met or confronted. He was the brightest light for a score of generations. So, my friends, my colleagues, what has not been said, what may not have been done, share your concerns now, or forever hold your peace. What troubles thee? It was customary for the officers to respond in lines of authority. Hence it was Lord Tyrak who all looked to first. Tyrak, the same age as Davicus, a similar build. Often they had been called twins in their youth, but they were inseparable then, all the way to the academy and beyond. But this was the first time they had been on active duty in the same theatre in quite some time.
That's one of the things I've always loved about 40K, the community in 40K, is we have such a collection of outstanding storytellers. You have Vox and the Void, you have Baldermort, you have, Chris Glass, you have so many people that do so much justice to the characters and the setting and everything like that. It's only when you sit down and listen to them that you truly begin to appreciate certain things. Vox and the Void in particular, I did a little podcast with him about his series All the Gods Are Dead, and I recommend you go take a look at that, because if you're talking grimdark, it doesn't get worse than that. It was bad. But it brings this setting to life in a way that some things just don't. The stories about the Space Marines are great, but every once in a while you want to hear about what happens with a normal person on the ground. You want to hear about the true horror. In any case, I'm rambling because, yeah, let's go.
When Davicus had been given this high-profile command, the crowning accomplishment of his career thus far, he naturally requested the assistance of his old friend Tyrak. As he put it to his friend, "If I am to go down in the history books, I could not fathom the tale not including you, old friend. Will you join me?" Of course, the answer was an emphatic yes. Davicus had no doubt it would be, or he would not have asked at all. Many had claimed that most of Davicus's victories had come from the ministrations of Tyrak, his tactical genius. But then again, many had claimed that Tyrak would not thrive under anyone but his friend Davicus. His solo career had been unremarkable, but then it had not been the most audacious or active of zones he had been given to administer. Tyrak had little luck in this regard, as he never got the chance to really shine. Many stated that Tyrak was the steadier officer, but not the most bold. Hence Davicus always outperformed him. Despite this, and the hotly discussed rivalry assumed by others, there was utter accord between the two men. Never once had they come to blows since they were in their 20s, and that was while drunk. Never had they parted under bad terms. And now they were together again. Both beamed as he spoke jovially. "I do have concerns about the lead officer. Some say he cannot hold his liquor." The two laughed loudest at this. The other smiled, all but Lady Maxima. "But no, we are prepared. We are ready. All our lives we have dreamt of crossing into unknown worlds, uncharted space. Now is our time, Darby. We are ready." Lord Emarth was next, a hammer in form and function. Emarth was one of Davicus's most aggressive and exuberant officers. He knew what he was good for, and he did not get ideas above his station. He stayed in his lane. He was in charge of advanced terrestrial and boarding operations.
That's a
and
mouthful.
He led from the front. He spoke. "None. I have no fear. I have no concerns. There is nothing that can stop this much vanguard power concentrated in one place. Nothing." Lady Maxima snorted at this, and the smiles on faces began to drop. They were entirely wiped away by her next sally.
This is a waste of time, resources, and
Who's
effort.
this?
The Vanguard power you tout, Emarth, is not an unlimited resource. We are needed elsewhere to maintain the Vigil, to protect our holdings and those who rely on us. Nor has any previous expedition been successful. Drones come and go through, collecting scraps of sod and reporting that there is something behind the barrier. The Veil. But what of it? Who cares? The Veil is not something we should be tinkering or toying with. Is the universe we have not enough? How many galaxies still do not know the packs of the Vanguard? How many enemies now skulk in the dark, waiting for any sign of weakness? We are about to lead the most advanced and sizable expedition fleet mustered in a generation. More. Why? Nothing useful has ever come back from beyond the Veil. But either way, this should never have been our priority. Nothing will ever come out of the Veil that was not sent in. Strategically, it is a void. So why are we actually here?
I find myself agreeing with her.
Lord Davicus responded. And yet we are going anyway. Maxima, you seem to forget who we are. We are not just peacekeepers, builders and warriors. The Vanguard were ever at the forefront of expansion, colonization and research. We are explorers, Maxima, and we should never have forgotten that. It is as much a part of our core as the Pax itself, and it is why we are here. Not just on the footstep of history, preparing to penetrate the Veil, but also why we exist at all. We are explorers. We must push the boundaries of our knowledge, experience, and understanding of all things at all points. Or we as a culture and the races that make up the Vanguard, we will shrivel and die. We must be true to who and what we are.
We have already lost a dozen vessels and all hands attempting your vaunted and much-loved explorations. They have never worked out well in recent ages, because they are fripperies. They are distractions.
Exactly what
I can see her point. I can also see his, but I'm leaning more heavily toward her point at this time. Maybe I'm like, he's going to get into it. I'm shutting up.
why we have assembled this, the 1000th expedition. Maxima, I thank you for your candor. It does me honor. But it is enough now. We are here. We are certainly not going to skulk back to our own space and disperse this armada. You know that as well as I. Lord Tyrak then interjected. My, indeed. Imagine what the populace would think if we went to all this trouble to just run away. It would embolden our enemies and elicit contempt. We rule by respect, Maxima. Your proposal actually threatens more than the loss of this entire fleet. One sign of weakness. One. And the galaxies will burn in rebellion. We have no choice now. For the existence of the Rohirrim and the Pax, we must go.
I am aware, of course, but I had to speak my truth. You may well all rue the day you pushed my reservations aside, but I will be there to see it. I will stay the course. Despite how much folly I think this is, I will follow you, Davicus. And none but us will know of my protestations.
She then turned and looked at Lord Davicus dead on.
I have made my point. I wish you to secure it within you, so when things begin to turn on us, you will have my words in your ears, and you will order the withdrawal when we find nothing there at all.
Oh.
Or worse, we find a new enemy that knew nothing of us until we smashed through reality to invade their realm. Never forget, in all of the decisions that come from this point, we are the invaders. We are in the wrong.
Duly noted,
Yeah.
said Lord Davicus. And at that, the four then discussed the order of battle.
Okay, seriously, I need somebody to just yell out for the Emperor at this point, just to, get me in the mindset. But looking at it from my own personal perspective, yeah, I agree with her. Why are you going in there? What's the point? What is the absolute point? Especially if you conquered galaxies. What is the point? Especially if it's hostile to you and has created problems before. So I agree with her right now.
The arrangements of the flights and the wings, the preparedness levels to operate under during transit, and then in the space beyond the veil. As always, the Vanguard were prepared for everything and anything. Or so they thought. 24 hours later. Each vessel was aligned and every last one was prepared. Only the final address remained. Comms opened up across the Armada, and the holographic visage of Lord Davicus could be seen by near all as he began. On this day, we, the Eternal Vanguard, stand ready to take the first step into a wider world, a brighter future. Not for an epoch have so many forces been mustered in one place. Not for an epoch or more have we arrayed ourselves like this for anything other than to repel a vast enemy threat. We are the 1000th Vanguard Expedition. Peace has been largely kept by our efforts for 4 epochs. We will not falter. But our hegemony, our pax, has been universal across the galaxies we protect. But now, we make that true. For on this, the 1000th Vanguard Expedition, our largest ever, with 1,000 ships at our command, it is now that we reach beyond the confines of our own universe. It is today we take the final step. For it is today that we, the Vanguard, pierce the veil, and then proceed into the unknown. For none have ever entered the veil and returned. Not for 1,000 years has anyone tried.
Okay.
And it is time. So on our 1000th Vanguard Expedition, with 1,000 ship armada, with 1,000 men, do we take this last momentous voyage. For the honor of Rohalins, for the pride of the Vanguard, we head forth where no one has gone before.
Okay. I'm liking it.
And with that, 1,000 engines whirred into action. Power built in them all, and then, as one, they cruised through space toward the veil. The shimmering barrier defied all attempts to scan, assess, catalog, or characterize it. For all intents and purposes, it did not exist. Yet none could scan anything behind it. Anything at all. The ultimate enigma. A riddle that was about to be solved. The Rohalinth Resplendent, as flagship, took the point and was the first to reach the veil. All held their breaths as the ship slowly pushed through it. It seemed to be like a bubble that did not wish to be penetrated, as colors and distortions surrounded the Resplendent. Then, finally, with a snap, the energies pulled away from the ship as it simply disappeared. The field, the veil, seemed to spring back as a reaction, and energies again fluctuated across its surface. Now, there was no turning back, and the rest of the fleet moved in and through. The Vanguard station that witnessed the transit was suddenly surrounded by empty space and silence once more.
That ain't creepy at all.
The present. 60 years had passed. No sign or signal had been received in all of that time. Nothing. The 1000th expedition, only 3 months after its disappearance into the veil. And now, it had become a cultural taboo to even mention it. In polite company, at the least.
Well, it's gone.
But many did still talk about it. In hushed whispers to their partners, to their friends, to anyone brave enough to discuss this most dangerous of subjects. For many now believed that everything had gone wrong since then. Nothing had stayed the same. Regions that had previously been subdued, if not entirely absorbed body and soul into the packs of the Vanguard, had openly rebelled. Adversaries that had been contained were now bitter rivals. The delicate lattice of alliances and obligations that enabled the Vanguard were unraveling at a horrifying pace. It had all fallen apart, and some now whispered that it was all connected to the Veil somehow. The 1000th expedition.
Yeah?
It was as if something had fundamentally altered in the very fabric of reality. As if the Vanguard had been cursed. None believed in such superstitious rubbish in public. Yet the whispers continued. They said that all of this was a punishment, a tax, for the affront of breaking the natural order of things. The Veil was now likened to Pandora's box, the wellspring of all the evils that now faced the previous.
I'm seeing the massive amount of 40k influence in this. I'm really seeing it. Of course, the 8-pointed star, the fact that these guys look like Khornite berserkers, things that resemble Tyranids. I'm seeing a lot of 40k in this.
Obviously dominant power. All of the realms were now under threat, as they had not been since the first epochs, their very first steps into space. The pressure was rising every day. Few believed now that there was a good outcome in the future. Most foresaw only death and destruction. A dream shared by an entire community across the myriad stars. The nightmare of the return. And so, when it happened, when they returned, few were shocked. Oh, again, in public there was rampant disbelief, utter confusion. But in the very soul of the Vanguard, they had known this was going to happen. War was about to be waged in a manner that had not been performed since the dark days, before the Pax. And the Vanguard and all of their constituent parts were utterly and totally unprepared for the barbarity that was unleashed on them.
Lovely.
The 1,000 ships of the expedition returned, carrying 1,000 veteran warriors. But they were changed. So terribly, terribly changed. The small outpost that saw them off witnessed their return. But they did not live to tell the tale. Only one message got through to Vanguard High Command. One line. And we saw and beheld the return of Daricus and the 1,000th Armada. And power was given unto him. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. And we looked, and beheld his name was Death, and hell followed with him.
The first horseman.
None knew the meaning of this archaic quote, but it rang in the minds of those at Central who heard it. But the Vanguard did not take it seriously, did not react as they should.
Yeah, it sounds like
not
typical.
Until the first reports and footage came back in. Their onslaught was barbaric and utterly unstoppable. The Armada had been the top of the range, had been vast, even in the better times, the halcyon days of only 60 decades ago. The battered and overstretched battle fleets of the Vanguard of the present day were dispersed, unable to collect in force in time to resist. They seemingly destroyed everything in their path. None could know how this metamorphosis had come to be. The changes wrought beyond the veil. You see, an alien corruption pulsated within their hearts, bending their will to a new master.
Lovely.
The corruption that flowed through the veins of the veil touched, and twisted their bodies and given them strength and stature well beyond the reach of normal humans. The corruption of Daricus and the rest of the Vanguard was slow, seeping into their consciousness over the course of decades. Faint whispers spoke to them, at first comforting and even emboldening, eventually demanding acts of utter madness.
Lovely!
Not everyone survived the mental and physical assault, but those that did were forged anew with a drastic shift in both purpose and morality. And the savagery with which they assailed the Vanguard and anything in their path, it was shocking. repugnant and terrifying. And many of the allied worlds were now making noises. Dark rumblings that this was between the humans of the Vanguard and whatever the Veil Touch now were, that if they seceded, they could be left alone.
Yeah, that's a dumb
That
idea.
death might pass over them, for it was soon obvious enough to even the most strategically illiterate. The Armada was going home, to where it was forged. It was carving a path of annihilation towards Rohalin's prime itself. They could not be matched in the void or the skies, but it was their ground forces that were the most bloody. They knew no defeat, but worse by far was that they could also capitalize on a victory. And the evidence became stark and unmistakable. They were not executing most of the inhabitants of systems that were lifeless when they left. They were absorbing them.
Lovely.
Twisting them. Recruiting them.
Mm-hmm.
Olmaios 4. A simple farming world was in the path of an attack group under Lady Maxima. The one who questioned the journey now had the brightest fires of zealotry within her.
Lovely.
For of all the Veil touched, she is the most ardent in her worship of the Twisted Ones, her new darker gods.
Lovely.
Her faith is so strong, her methods of torture and conditioning so perfected, that she can twist the souls of others to her will, to the worship of her faith, and infect them with her zeal. So the momentum of the Veil touched builds with every victory, every battle, for they take those who survive, those they conquer, and add them to their own. And now...
So she is the leader of the true crazies. You have the regular crazies, you have the Diet Cokes of crazies, and then you have triple concentrated crazy, and she leads it. Nice.
The elite forces of the Veil Touched are preceded by wave upon wave of fanatically insane converts. Flanked by his loyal Veil Touched cleavers, Lord Davicus prepares for the final assault on the high command of Rohalin's Prime. Once sworn to protect the capital and all its allied worlds, now Davicus would see the planet burn, until nothing remains but ash and bone.
Nice. Nice.
Welcome, gentle listener. Welcome to the world of Ravaged Stars. Now here is their starter blurb. Ravaged Stars is a new line of highly detailed sci-fi miniatures for use in your favorite tabletop games. This crowdfunding campaign is for the first faction, the Veil Touched, and includes corrupted soldiers hell-bent on destroying any and every planet within their vast reach. The armies from beyond the Veil have been designed in heroic 32mm scale and will be produced in high-quality PVC. These miniatures can be proxied in any wargame or board game you desire, or just collected and or painted to showcase your inherent good taste in tiny plastic people.
Tiny plastic people are the way to go. I'm loving the detail of these. I really am. I really do. Even, like... Look. Oh, hold on. Let it get down here.
Now,
Check out these oath papers on the side right here. I'm really liking this. All the... Yes. I am loving this.
here is my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is an incredibly exciting new range at its very infancy. So you are literally witnessing gaming history. You'll be able to say, I was there.
Look at this. I'm loving it. Look at this. Oh. I remember when I first started and, like, legitimately, they could not do things like this. Not with plastic. Not even with metal. Not this detailed.
When it all started, I got the first boxes available. And I have never seen the level of detail, quality, and sheer quantity of models in one box before nor since.
Huh.
You remember those boxes of 13 Marines? The legendary ones. Only a tenner at the time. Well, this is your chance to get in at the start of something I guarantee will be big. Huge. And this is not just hype. I'm not being paid a single penny. I asked for plastic. But I truly, madly, and deeply believe this is one of those moments.
Oh my god.
You don't often see them.
Okay, so that's Maxima. And she looks awesome. Look, I wish I could see painted examples of these.
Come up. Hardly ever witness them with eyes wide open that you are right here, right now, witnessing a seismic and permanent change in the hobby world.
I love these chain blades.
So let's have a look at the models themselves. And yes, you could proxy the heck out of these for Chaos Forces. Sure.
Of course.
But ask yourself this question. Wouldn't you love to be able to do that, but also be able to get in at the ground level? Get the first army, wait for more to drop, then join me in kicking Mini Wargaming Dave at miniwargaming.com until he has some rules out too. Because they are working on a background setting. They have a wordsmith. And I believe this is it. A new setting, new models, new game. But you can so use them in many other games too. Heck, you could play them with bolt action rules if you had the mind to invent some stats.
There you
Again,
go.
we're back to kicking Dave. Because I now want me some Vanguard. Yes, I do. If these are the bad guys, who are the good guys? Or the horrors in the background, the monstrous ones. They also pique the interest, no? No, I have no idea what they are or what's going on. I'm just very excited to be about when it happens.
Yeah. Oh, look at
So
this.
let's
Look at
give
this
this a
gun.
try.
Look at this gun right here. That is some flat-out chaosies. Okay, this guy. I wish I could turn this guy this way just to see what the front of that looks like.
Unless you play in tournaments that do not allow proxy, you literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
That looks awesome.
And I need you to know I have asked to be paid not one shiny penny. I want plastic. I would have done it anyway for free, but I want the darn plastic. I've had a poo couple of months and want this new army.
Oh, look at
My
this.
first Chaos army in sci-fi. So pledge hard to make the bold happy. For they may well then shower me in a few boxes.
Yeah.
I'm a harmless duck, but when it comes to models this nice, I am a greedy little duck. But in all seriousness, they're glorious models. It's an exciting time. Let's reward the amazing talent involved here in the creation, vision, sculpting, and art that have begun what I believe will be an amazing journey.
Looks like it.
These will sell heaps in
Oh,
seconds.
look at that.
No, that's not FOMO, because it's a kick thingy, a Kickstarter. So I think they're made to order. You bet your butt they'll make more if the demand was there.
Look at this
No
one.
darn full scarcity from
Look at this guy right here. Oh my god, these look awesome.
the bunker. It's just a happy mindscape where they knock it out of the park. So far, it elicits the expedition of the other rangers. Because, as I said, I want this army. Such will be ours. Precious. But also, we want the Vanguard. So let's get this line started with a bang, ladies and gents. Fans of sci-fi miniature wargaming, and all the glorious art, action, lore, and madness that then ensues. Because competition is good. It breeds excellence in the providers and choice for the consumer. And that is
Links
a
are
good
going to
thing
be in the
indeed.
description, guys.
And yes, I can love both. This and my first love, GW. Both is good.
Yes.
So, follow the links in the description, have a closer look, and then, for a fraction of the cost, you can get yourself a huge, amazing, beautifully sculpted and detailed army of chaos. Or as we're going to be saying one day, I got the first Ravaged Stars boxes. I was there at the start. I bought the veil touched.
Nice.
And now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.
I was right.
Didn't Maxima do it? Didn't do Maxima any good though, did it?
You were less right.
Okay, so I wish I still painted. I wish I still could paint, but I can't because no. My hands don't work that way anymore. It really does suck. This, if you guys can go down to the description below, pick up a couple of those boxes for yourself and enjoy some of these, because they were, look, I want to bring these back up just to have them sitting on the screen. These look really, really detailed. I'm loving how detailed they look. In any case, Baldermort's my favorite. He is my favorite, 100%. Going to be putting his links down in the description below. Be sure to go down there, click, and, you know, use his links if he has them. And get the old man some plastic. Not this old man, that old man. Yeah. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I'm going to have all my links in the description down below, including my Patreon and the Discord, so you can come in and... I actually have a miniatures thing in my Discord where you can come and post pictures of your miniatures. So, hey, come on in, throw some miniatures down. Let's see what you got. I'll catch you guys next time.